Hello, crafters, and welcome to Peter P. Crafts online show brought to you by From Picture to Page and Beyond Papercraft Shows, your scrapbooking, mixed media art, and paper crafting community. Now, I'm your host, Michelle Brown, Creative Director from Picture to Page, and I'm so looking forward to bringing this session to you today. Now, the Peter P. Craft online show has had a whole heap of craft demonstrations over the last couple of days with our talented retailers and some fantastic special guest artists. So for all the details and get links and all the product information, head over to our website from picturetopageandbeyond.com.au where you can get all that information and find it all in one place. And while you're there, make sure you're on our email list so we can send you all the updates. And of course, our next most important update is our dates for our 2021 shows. And we're hoping to have those in your inbox very soon. Now, whether you're watching here live on Facebook or you're watching a replay on Facebook or YouTube, we would love to know that you're there. So pop in the comments, say hi, ask us any questions, and of course, continue to spread the crafting love through giving us likes and sharing us with your crafting community. And we are really excited today to welcome someone new to the Picture to Page family, and that's Lucy from Art Shed Angels. Hello, Lucy.
Hello, how are you?
We're good. We are delighted to have you here as part of the From Picture to Page family. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I've been an artist most of my life. Some people would know me as Lucy from Lucy Stamps many, many moons
I
ago.
think many
So I
people
used
would
to,
remember Lucy Stamps.
yeah. So yes, I'm kind of back, but in mixed media, and I'm still designing some stamps and that for Couture Creations, and I've been doing demoing with and classes and things like that. So I'm really excited to be back working with people because I've kind of really missed the whole crafting community, because the crafting community is quite different than the fine art community. They're much more fun.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And I know there is,
Yeah.
a little bit of a gap between crafters and artists, but I think something like mixed media really does start to close that gap.
It absolutely does. And one of the reasons I love it is because I actually use my art journal to create artworks that end up being major pieces sometimes. So it's a really great place to play. So that's why I like mixed media. You can play, you can design, you can do stuff, and it's lots of fun. But you can make cards. You can, I'm still a card maker.
Once
So
a
I
card
haven't
maker,
stopped
always a card maker.
and still do the odd scrapbook too. So yeah.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Well, which of those hats are you wearing for us today, Lucy?
Okay, I was earlier this year, I was in Frankfurt demoing alcohol inks for Couture Creations. So today I'm going to be showing you something with alcohol inks, a really quick face drawing, because I also teach face drawings and cute faces and things like that.
Oh, the holy
And I'm
grail
putting
of
it all
art
together.
journaling is learning to draw a face.
Yeah, yes. So I'm actually going to do a really quick drawing to show you how to do it, but then I'm going to finish it off with some alcohol inks, and I've got a lot of things ready here, but I'm going to finish it off with alcohol inks and make something quite fun and show you some of the other things I do as well.
Oh, fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
you get yourself ready and we'll jump right in.
Okay, so I'll change over.
Yes, change it over. Excellent. So, yes, I'm sure many of you do remember Lucy's dance, and it's so lovely to reconnect with Lucy. And so, she'll tell us at the end about some of the classes that she's offering. But again, it is nice to be sort of closing that gap between, the fine art and, of course, the things that we do for fun as well. So, it looks like Lucy is ready. So, Lucy, take it away.
Okay, so I'm really, really excited to be doing a project. We're going to be making some flowers with the new Fluoro Couture Creations inks. And I'm going to be drawing a face. I'll show you how to draw this face. Sorry, there it is. And it's really, really quick. I have this method of drawing faces that makes it very, very easy. This is just watercolor paper, but we're going to add alcohol inks to this watercolor paper. And that makes it quite exciting too. Alcohol inks have many other uses than just on UPO paper. So I'll just quickly get started. So when I draw a face, I do a very easy method of dividing. So I'm just dividing. So we need this girl because we're going to put her on a card and we're going to do amazing, beautiful hair of flowers. So this is one you can do in your art journal, or you can do it in your as a card, sorry, or in a scrapbook page even. So I'm doing one eye closed because I want her to have like wink at us. So she's going to be kind of pretty and simple. So I do everything in kind of mathematically. I won't have time in this particular thing to show you exactly how I draw it, but I just wanted to sort of show you how quick and easy it is. I'm just drawing, and every time I draw a face, I do it in the same method. I've just done an actual portrait for a family, and I use the same method that I'm using here to draw this face. So if you ever want to join any of my face drawing classes, they're a lot of fun. We actually do a lot of fun stuff like making odd shaped faces and that as well. When I say odd shaped, long ones and short ones and interesting ones and that too. So I'm just doing this because we're going to jazz this up. So this is going to be the paper that we cut out and we're going to put onto this card. And so I just want to cut out this. I'm going to keep it quite simple. Carefully cut it out. I'm cutting a bit of a cheek off. She's not going to be bald. She's going to have beautiful coloured hair.
How lovely.
Yeah. And I will just cut that off there because we'll put some clothes around her neck. Just let me fix. I've just done a bit of a... I wasn't very good at the fussy cutting today. Okay, so what I'm going to do to this now is there's this beautiful colour that's a glitter one called incandescent. And what that is basically clear with glitter in it. Look at that. And I'm going to use the applicator tool, and I'm just going to take that and I'm going to rub it all over this watercolour paper just to make her face completely glittery.
Ooh.
A little bit more. Gotta love a bit of glitter. I love glitter. I've been doing some really earthy alcohol ink pages, but glittery earthy ones, which has been quite lots of fun. So I'm just putting this over the top. It's very hot here. That's why I'm using probably more ink than I really need to, because if anyone's looking at going, wow, that's a lot of ink she's using, it is so hot here. It's evaporating before I can do anything. So I've got this face now, and see how she's all
Oh, we
beautiful and
can see the
glittery.
sheen in it.
Yes. So then I'm going to just use my pen, and this is just a uni pin fine, and I'm going to just draw in these details with that. Now she's got one eye shut, so I'm going to put eyelashes here and just her nose. And we're going to colour her lips with some nice glitter colour too. So you can just draw straight over this. That's the beauty of it. The alcohol inks do work beautifully straight over the top. The pen works beautifully straight over the top of the alcohol inks.
Yeah, it's dried
So
so
just make
quickly.
sure it has. And put a bit of eyeliner on her. She needs to have a little bit of kind of sexy eyeliner on.
It's getting towards evening.
Yeah, she's getting ready to go out. And the thing about alcohol inks too that people don't really know is that you can paint with alcohol inks, and you can paint very successfully with it if you just let things dry in between. So that's plenty dry enough now. And if I take some pink, what do you need? Just had the pink here. I'm going to use the fluoro pink. You do need to make sure that you shake your inks up before you use them. Now I'm going to put this pink where this glitter is left over, so that when I mix it up on my brush, I'm going to pick up some of the glitter as well. Actually, that's not clean. Sorry. I've got a dirty brush. Just clean it. Look how much paint is in my brush.
Oh dear.
That was Yeah, that's not good, is it? This is my favourite thing, a toilet roll with it's a toilet roll with paper towel over the top. The best brush cleaning thing you can own. So let's do that again, sorry. So I'm picking up some of the glitter there, and I'm just painting it in with my brush into the lips. and that's making it even glittery. And the other fun thing about this is wherever you have this glitter paint, you can actually watercolor over this now. And like I've done, because I've used watercolor paper, if I watercolor over the top of this, it has glitter all the way through, which is really, really
Oh,
pretty.
wow. Yeah.
So yes, so it has lots of purposes, especially this one called incandescent. Then I'm going to put some blue in her eye, and I'll just put a little bit more alcohol blending solution. I'm using, this is the Couture Creations matte, which was kind of designed because I like the lighter color. So I'm just going to put a little bit of color on her cheek, a little bit. Being watercolor paper, it sucks it in a little bit. So you could do this part if you're not confident with it with just watercolors.
Okay.
You can even use watercolor pencils here. You could color in with watercolor pencils over the top of your picture. So we've got her. Now she looks very white, I know that, but we want to make her stand out. So what I'm also going to do, and this is also where this is great, is this incandescent. You pick it up and you can put a little bit of alcohol blending solution in if you want it to go further. And you can just make your whole sheet of card glittery. It's fabulous. This is like a hologram glitter.
Wow.
So if you've got, and this is acid free. So if you wanted to do this to a scrapbook page to make a beautiful glittery background, look at that.
Oh, that's spectacular.
Yeah. So if you're a person who likes glittery stuff, which I do, now I'm going to put her on here. She looks very simple at the moment, but what we're going to do is we're going to put flowers around her. Now, to make the flowers, I'll quickly make one with you first.
Now, with the alcohol ink in the paintbrush and the sponge, do you need to rinse that in water or with anything special?
Okay, so this thing here, I don't wash it all. I will keep this one just for incandescent,
Right.
and I actually have colorways. So that it's really economical, I have like a whole rack of them in my drawer where it might be yellow, pink, whatever, and I keep on reusing it because what happens is if you've got a pink one and you put it away, you can next time you want to color, you can just put some alcohol blending solution on that and you've got pink again. You don't, so it's very economical. It's a lot more economical than people think.
Yeah.
So to do the simple flower, I am just going to, actually, I'll use a lighter color. You'll be able to see it a bit better. So again, fluoros have a powdery matte stuff in them. So you just need to make sure that you can't see powder in the bottom of them. And I'm going to use some hot pink as well. So to do a flower, I use their puffer. This is really good. It's a nice fine puffer. And you do a dab in the middle of your page. I'm doing small flowers. And then you just blow it all different directions. And usually I end up with a better flower than that. So I just want a rough flower. And also, this also works better if it's not quite as hot as I am as it is here.
Yeah, so
And
you're up
then,
in northern New South Wales. You've had a very warm day.
yes, it's been a ridiculously hot day. I'm just going to put a dab of this, I've spilt it here, in there, and then very quickly blow that out as well. And see how you end up starting to get a bit of a flower shape?
Yes.
It's a rough kind of flower shape. All of these have been done the same way. I've just had a little bit more time. Let me just clean that up. I'll do one more. Okay, I'll do the fluoro yellow. So just a dab of this and blow, blow, blow. That's better.
Yeah, it's a bit more like a
Sounds a
daffodil.
few. Yeah. And you just let it dry slightly. It only takes a few seconds. then you drop that drop in, and that one you want to spread pretty quickly and just spread it in a few different directions. And it kind of looks a bit messy, but once you just let me dry that off very quickly. Okay, so once it's pretty dry, then I get the onyx, which is the black, tiny bit of that. By the way, all the stuff that's on here, I actually then later will put onto some tags or things like that, so you don't have to waste it.
Oh, good.
Now, the brush is already dry and it's clean. So the only thing I don't recommend is that you put your brushes in your alcohol and leave them soaking. But then I won't, if you ever come to one of my classes, you're not allowed to put your brushes in water at all to
Okay.
dry. I'm very strict about my brushes. Especially, I teach a lot of watercolor classes, so I'm very strict about those. So I'm putting some black in the center, then getting my Signo broad and just doing some little round dots in there. And then, funnily enough, they start to look more like flowers when you
Yeah,
start to
they
cut them
do.
out. And these are kind of a little bit abstract, so it's nice. It goes with this girl to have some abstract. Hang on, I'll cut it out a little bit. Stand these up. And if there's some bits that I don't like, I can cut them off too. But it makes a very simple thing. There's so many things you can do with alcohol inks. It's really lots of fun. So I'll just cut these two out and then we'll start sticking them because all the rest are done. Now, when I put her on there, I want to put some flowers behind her as well. This would definitely go nice if you did an alcohol ink background behind her as well. So I've left a little bit of white on there. Okay. So these two that I've made here, I think I'm going to do, I want to have some flowers behind her head as well. And I want to have flowers over her head as her hair. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these in half so that I'm getting more out of them. And this is the self-adhesive Yupo paper.
Ah, handy.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll grab that one. It's already peeled. So the self-adhesive one is great to use. So I'm going to think about where I want to put her. And just to start off with, I'm going to put some of this behind her, a couple. It reminds me of, you remember when it's probably when I was younger, maybe not when everybody else was younger, but we used to have those swimming caps
Oh, yes.
where
Yep.
that were covered in flowers. Well, this is kind of like my ode to that. So
Well, I've seen it in the movies.
yeah, so just a bit of tape.
So
Hang
Donna
on
was
a
asking,
second.
is the black paper watercolor paper as well?
No, it's just a basil card. You know, the just
Mm-hmm.
scrapbooking. It was a 12 by 12 scrapbooking piece of paper.
Right.
So the alcohol inks are great to go over paper because even when I do art journaling, because if you want to color something, it doesn't do what watercolor, like if you paint over normal paper, you tend to get the paper warping, don't you? Whereas when you put alcohol inks over it, you get no paper warp at all. So then I'm going to start kind of thinking about where I'm sticking these. Now you can also, if you like, do them as raised. You can see I got these ready earlier.
And you said that was self-adhesive Yupo paper.
Self-adhesive Yupo paper from Couture Creations, this one. So then I'm just going to arrange them so I've got a whole bundle of them in all different colours here. And they're a bit of fun. I'll put some of these here. These two here aren't self-adhesive, so we'll put a bit of foam tape behind them. And kind of, so you can imagine you could do a whole scrapbook page or anything with this,
Yeah, definitely. Or art
a bit of a
journal. Or...
sneak. Yeah. Bit of a sneaky one up here. So it's just a bit of a playing around till you get them where you want them to be, but it looks quite effective.
Yeah. Like you said, when
And
you stop sort of looking at them as individual flowers and seeing them all over, it just
oh yeah, when they start to be that. Now I'm also going to put some of them around here. I mean, this is very simple, but you know, sometimes when you want to do something like I think I've gotten to the stage with art that I actually enjoy doing a bit of simple as well, not always doing things too complicated.
yeah.
So I just
Sometimes
need
we have
to
to give
have,
ourselves permission just to play, don't we?
yes, we absolutely do, and that's a thing that we often don't do, and we're also very self-critical sometimes. So I find that um, that inner critic sometimes needs to be stopped. So, oh, I've just thrown it on the ground. Sorry about that.
Yep, that inner critic can be quite nasty sometimes.
Yes, I don't like the inner critic, but I have methods in my teaching to get rid of that inner critic too. So, because I think it's important that the inner critic gets a bit of a talking to.
Yeah. And I think the first step is just to acknowledge that it's there because sometimes you almost don't catch yourself thinking like that. But I always remember
Well,
that, you know, sometimes you just see someone else's artwork and you just think that was better than yours, but it could be equal. There's no reason to think that.
in some of the classes I do, I actually get people to put their artwork down and walk across the room and just walk past it and glance at it.
Oh, okay.
And that's a way. I think we only want this one to be a half one off the side here, maybe. Um, yeah, I might take that as
Yeah,
like a
so by
ribbon
just
through there.
glancing at it, yeah, that's
Yes,
great.
you have to step away from your artwork. You really do need to step away from artwork to learn to enjoy your artwork a little bit. That's getting very, very busy, but
No, not at
you can
all.
see how it kind of it develops. And I mean, this was alcohol ink. Now I'm just fixing up this, so I've got a nice line here. Normally, I probably would have drawn ears on her as well, maybe even put lovely earrings on her. But you can see it's quite a simple card that you can create quite quickly. And what it is also a good practice. I always believe in practicing. So you've practiced a face, you've practiced how to do the little blowing things, and you get really good at making the flowers after a while. So with doing all of that, um, and the funny thing is, and I say this to my classes too all the time, that you are training your brain all the time to actually understand that you can do it and that everything is a step by step process. So,
Oh, okay. That's an interesting way to approach it. Yeah.
yeah, because that's what we're doing. We're actually training ourselves to be able to do these things. So, you know, I might put that one there and then that. So, yes, the other thing too is there's a lovely color that we have in our alcoholic glitter ones, which is the peach one here, which you could have done her face in peach. So it would have been a little bit more of a flesh color than this one is now. You can even add that to it. So you can paint with these. You need to have a clean brush. But see how this is like a flesh color?
Ah, yes. So
So
would you
you can
norm? Yeah, you
take,
would shade with a little bit of alcohol ink.
yes, I would just, you can put a little bit of alcohol blending solution in and you can paint with it. Although you could have just as well painted with watercolors because I used watercolor paper here. And see how I can add some color quite easy to this?
Yeah.
And especially around her eyes here where we want to sort of see and yeah, so a bit of shadowing under her nose, onto her chin. So not too much. You wouldn't go over the top. I kind of like that she's quite plain. But it's more just to show you that you can continue. And because it's on watercolor paper, you're not getting it all bleeding and getting away with you. I mean, I was once when I first started with alcohol inks was when I did alcohol inks with the 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 other brand, the famous brand watercolor.
Oh, the
I'm trying to think of the
pinata?
name.
Was it?
Yes, and they can tend to get away with you a little bit. So yeah, these are actually a little bit more controllable. I kind of think that's good. And you can add a little bit of shadow under the flowers and things like that. So you can see how that just starts to come together. I probably would have done the cheeks with watercolors, and you could absolutely paint it just like you would any face, using the alcohol inks, the paints, and with the watercolor paper and the just lost the word for it, the watercolor paper and the glitter accents underneath it.
Right.
So you can see there, it's very simple.
Oh, that is
But I
just
sort of do,
lovely.
yeah. It just reminds me of those days. And the thing about it too, with these flowers, if you're making them, you can do things like this. So this one here is just a bunch of them where I've actually added lines.
Oh,
Can you
lovely.
see how so I could have done that. So if I'll do one just to show you what I mean, but you can, if you want to put a little bit more detail in them because you think there's not enough, you can absolutely go through with this pen and make them a little bit more interesting with your black pen. And I always say use a scribbly kind of draw line, not to, because it's an abstracty picture, so you don't want to have a harsh line. But see how they start to really look like flowers? So, I think through play, one of my big philosophies has always been that through play, we learn how to control products and how to use them properly.
Uh-huh.
But this fear of not wanting to get them out because we don't know if we'll make a mistake, most of the time it's just paper, or it's just a bit of UPO paper and a bit of ink,
Yeah.
like
No, it's
play.
funny how
And
we give ourselves those restrictions when there's no real reason for it.
no, and the thing about it is that you also can, a lot of the stuff that I don't particularly like ends up in an art journal as backgrounds and things like that. So, you know, because I teach the whole lot, I kind of try to get people to use the things together and make something with what's left over,
Yeah.
you know.
Now, Alison was just asking, what
So,
pen are you using there?
okay, this is a uni pin fine line. The most important thing doesn't. There's lots of different brands of them, but it has to be water and fade proof pigment ink.
Water and fade proof pigment ink.
Yes, and it you can only write over the top of the alcohol inks. Okay, so you can't put this down and then paint alcohol inks over the top.
Right.
So this is a finishing thing, and same as the white Signo Broad, they're finishing. Alcohol inks, a lot of people say to me, oh, but there's not much you can put on over the top of alcohol inks. And I kind of say, well, alcohol inks are made with alcohol, which is basically cleaning fluid, really, isn't it? So if I now go to put some of that blending solution over that, that will actually take some of it away.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a finishing touch thing. But this is where you can also then, do those finishing touches, put highlights in, make it more interesting. I like to shade things, so there's no reason I can't just grab some, still got paint. This is what I do. I leave paint in all my trays and just grab some nice turquoise there and drop it in. And that's just watercolor paint that I've got here. It's actually Lindy's Gang glitter paint. So put a
Oh,
little bit of
right. And that goes over the
shadow.
alcohol paint as well.
Because I've used watercolor paper, this is just with water now. I'm just using water. So not a lot of people realize you can paint over the top of alcohol inks on if you've used them on watercolor paper.
So yeah, so that's a real
So
difference. Rather than having Yupo, which is a very sort of smooth surface, watercolor just helps hold it in place.
yeah, you're not going to get these kind of bleeding effects on watercolor paper, obviously, but you can definitely do beautiful painting. And the thing is that I like to extend my colours and be able to use them for more than one thing. And by doing this, you're getting a lot more value out of your paints. Because, we like to be able to, half of it is buying the paint, buying the art supplies, isn't it?
Oh, I think sometimes 80% is buying the art supplies and 20% or 15% is trying to find the time and then 5% using.
Yeah, my husband and I, it's like, because he's a mechanic, but we we often say a parcel arrives or something, he'll go, "Are the prezzies for you or for me today?" So yeah, so you can see here how well you can watercolor. I'm not even using much water. I can fully watercolor as if it's just watercolor paper, but it's got a beautiful glitter surface. So, you know, yeah, it's just an interesting, and like I say, this is why I have these are little sauce containers if anybody collects them. So they're little sauce containers that have, I leave my stuff in there and then you can use it up. That's, put that little bit on. I think that one looks pretty much done. I would put a sentiment somewhere on there, but it's nice because I've done some are raised, some are flat. And I'm also one for putting, I probably take things too far, don't I? But I like to put borders around. So I'm just going to finish it off with a border. I'm a bit of a border person.
Border person,
I think
okay.
I live on the border here. I'm 6 kilometres south of the Queensland border. So
Oh, you must be very
I
relieved
just,
to have it open again.
oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. It's just the most fantastic news. These kind of things like borders that I'm putting around here, this is where you can then also do some nice writing around it.
Oh, okay.
There's all these little things that you do to finish things. Also in my classes when I teach drawing, I make people mount their pictures afterwards so that they have a finished picture that's mounted, because I really believe that work looks much nicer when it's mounted and presented properly. So I'm just going to write some,
I guess it no longer feels like a work in progress either, does it? You've decided at that point
yeah,
it's finished and that's it.
yeah.
That's one of the things I get my crafters to do in our art journaling classes is at the end of the course of the
Yeah,
6 weeks, we sign it. And my rule is once I've put my signature and the date on it, that's it. I don't touch it and go back. And even if I think of something
yes,
else or
that's right.
get a new product or learn something new, it's a point in time and it's finished.
So this is a Signo broad pen. I don't know if everybody's seen these before.
Yeah, I think they're sort of one of the favourites. Those and the Jelly Roll white
Yeah,
pens are the.
yeah. I use this so much.
It's
Yeah,
like the
I'll just
holy
write.
grail of white pens in art journaling.
So yeah, just little things like that to finish it off. And that's what I'd do, exactly the same thing if I was doing a art journal page. I would be doing things to finish it off, like little highlights, and that's what I like doing with these, is just giving them a tap. But it's actually beautiful over the top of the glitter. So you can see her whole, got some dust on her now. The whole picture is glittery.
Yes, it's so shimmery.
Except for the flowers, which are matte, which is really nice. So I love to have a balance between, like, I wouldn't want the flowers to be glittery as well. I might do them in metallics, so I'd do them in the alloys, but I wouldn't do them in a glitter. So what I like about this is that the fluoro colors are really matte. They even feel matte. You could put a little daub of Kindy Glitz or something in the middle of the flowers, but I wouldn't. Or you could even put a little bit of that. Although that would melt it again, the incandescent. But that's called incandescent. If you want to color cardboard or make it glittery, that's what you can use it for.
I
So
think that is the tip of the session, most definitely.
oh, good. So yes, doesn't matter if it's a scrapbook page, doesn't matter what it is, but yeah. So if anybody is interested at any point in time in doing faces and stuff like that, I will be doing a lot of classes up soon. I'm just in the process. I don't know if you wanted me to show you a couple of things
Yeah,
quickly.
you've got a few
Yeah,
minutes. You can do that.
yeah. So I like these are the kind of colors I like too. These are the glitter ones. You can see here I've done the same thing in the glitter background.
Yep, we can
So
see that.
instead of just putting a black across there, I've added the glitter to it. I've even added the incandescent to the black to the gold, and it actually looks really effective. And then in the grungier looking colors, this whole page here, I'll put it down lower so you can see it. Oops, wait on, got a flower stuck. This whole page here, this has all been done with alcohol inks,
Ah.
basically. And you know, I was saying earlier about colouring paper. Now, if I was colouring that paper with watercolour paint or anything else, it would make the paper go all, you know, when you're sticking it down, it's all wobbly and that. If you colour it with alcohol inks, it stays perfectly flat. And that's been gessoed. These are self-adhesive. This is the big flower done the same way as the others. But there's self-adhesive alcohol inks on there. The background's done with alcohol inks. The writing and everything's been done with alcohol inks as well. So it's but these are the grungier colours. But have a look at the glitteriness.
Oh,
It's
yes,
on.
we can just see it.
Yeah, yeah. So in real life, you can see it's quite glittery. It's got this beautiful blue kind of halo of glitter through it. So, you know, if you like glitter, that's a nice thing to do. This one here is, I do a lot of different things. So this one here is jelly plate transfers with watercolors. So
Oh.
one of my biggest thing with classes, it's got some brushes and stuff in it. I really love doing jelly prints onto watercolor paper as well, and then doing nothing else but adding watercolors with it. So there's no acrylic paint, there's no gesso, nothing on this. It's just the transfers. Oh, and leaves that I placed on the page as well. So um, I love getting leaves from the garden and doing imprints, and that's what I did with her hair here. And see, I
Oh,
like to
okay.
do hair. I like to do hair as something that it's not. So
Ah.
unusual hair, and yeah, and I suppose this is. Oh, I've got lots of things in this journal, but these are just some of the watercolors and stuff that I do. So yeah, I do all sorts of stuff. We went through a process of doing a Klimt style artwork using all sorts of different textures and things like that. So, if anybody's interested in art journaling classes, I do lots and lots of different styles in art journaling, and I try to bring because I do oil paintings and other things as well. But I try to bring some of the styles and materials and stuff into my art journaling that's kind of a little bit different, I
Oh,
suppose.
okay.
So yeah, and you can't kind of half tell I like glittery or gold things, can you?
I think we may be picking that up a little.
Yeah, I just it's just a thing of mine. But that's a jelly plate print. This was just a fun thing I did as a video, but that's jelly plate painting. So yeah,
Oh,
so all
excellent.
sorts of
Oh,
things.
well,
There's
let's
lots
get
of
you back and
different
you can
things.
tell us
Face
more about
drawing.
where we can find you.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Excellent. So, wasn't that amazing? Just so many different ways of using those alcohol inks to create that shimmer on the page was just a stunning tip, I think. And what a beautiful, beautiful face. So, Lucy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for it was been really, really lovely being here with everybody. It's so nice to be back again.
Yeah. And so, if people
Yeah.
did want to join your watercolor or your face classes, where can we find you?
Okay, so you can join. The best place to have a look for things like that is my Instagram page, which is Artshed Angel, or my Facebook page, which is Artshed Angel, because I put all my classes up in there. I do have a mixed media class coming up over Christmas time. Actually, it's a couple of weeks away, and I run them all the time. I run a Tuesday night watercolor class for anybody who wants to hone their skills with watercolors, and yeah, because I love so many different mediums, and I've been working many years in different mediums. I try to cross over. So, and I also like to, if anybody has an idea, something that they want to learn, I do a lot of Zoom classes, and I will be doing more face to face classes once we can do that. But Zoom classes, I'm really, really enjoying. So yeah.
Yeah, it is a
But
great way to
Artshed
reach people
Angel,
further afield.
well, it is, and that's been one of the only things that I can say about COVID that's been a really positive thing, that we have connected with so many people through Zoom, and that's been really, really nice. So yes, Artshed Angel on Instagram and Facebook. I also have a lot of videos on my Artshed Angel YouTube channel. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Excellent.
there's tons of videos
Find you
there.
in
So,
lots of
and I'm
places.
putting up videos all the time. Yeah. And I suppose the only other thing that I'm part of is I'm part of a big art journaling group, which is called Live Art Journaling and Self Development,
Oh,
which
okay.
is, yeah, it's a free group. It was started by a therapist who just wanted to have a group of really happy people who wanted to art journal together, and it's actually been really positive. So it's the only group I've ever come across where there's no nasty bullying, nothing.
Oh,
It's really
nice.
cool. So yeah, it's great. So yeah, anyone's welcome to join that as well. Like I said, it's not a selling group at all. It's just a
Yep.
getting together and
A
being
sharing and
creative.
supporting group.
Oh, look, honestly, I think this year has been really obvious more than any other year that we really need to be together. And that's what I actually miss. That's why I came back to crafting again, because crafters are, I think the whole women crafting together, or even men and women, I'm not
Yep.
saying just women, crafting together is such a positive thing. It's like, to me, the tribe, getting back in the cave and doing the things together.
Yeah.
And it's about us being creative, talking while we're doing something, which is a good thing,
Yeah.
chatting away. And
Yeah,
yeah.
excellent. And look, and that's what From Picture to Page is all about. It's meeting people in real life, it's having demonstrations. And like we said, it's been great that we could take it online, but we know that's no substitute for seeing people in real life.
Yeah, no, and what you're doing is fantastic. When I saw what you're doing, I think it's just a wonderful thing. Like it's so needed, So people who the work you're doing, I think has been really, really great, because there's it's taken obviously takes a lot of your time too to be doing what you're doing, and it's been really positive for everybody.
Yeah, but like you said, it's just been
So yeah,
so important, and just making sure
yeah.
that we can reach people, that we know, people know that we're there, that they've, even if they don't have the money at the moment to buy more products, we can just look at new ways of using what we've got, and just, like you said, just get out of our heads a little bit and get some feelings on
Yeah,
the paper.
that's exactly right. So thank you so much for
Oh,
having
you
me
are
on. It's been
so
such a
welcome.
pleasure. Yeah, it's been a
Excellent.
pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm sure people will be able to find you on your socials, and we look forward to continue having you part of the From Picture to Page family.
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you so much. We'll
Excellent.
see you
Thanks,
later.
Lucy.
Okay, bye bye.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I think I could watch Lucy draw faces and shade faces all day. So I'm definitely going to go back and watch that one a couple more times, because I just love it. I love it. Excellent. So I hope you've enjoyed this session with Lucy and Artshed Angel. Like she said, you can find her on her website, on Instagram, on Facebook and YouTube. Go and check out her classes. And if you do have any questions, please reach out and make sure that we get all those details so that we can start creating some beautiful things ourselves. So any comments, any questions, pop them in the comments below the video, and Lucy and I will certainly chase them up. And of course, continue to share us with your crafty friends, give us a like and subscribe to Lucy's channels. So thank you so much for joining us today. This is Michelle signing off. We hope you have a crafty day.